So it's been over a year for this build, but I think it's about time we finally wrap up the Cetme L. Got three builds here that I want to compare it to. I got the Mark 18 Mod 0 inspired build, the Cetme L obviously, as well as a Polish AK-47 that I built. So at the time, the AK and more or less an AR or M4, M16 was the standard rifle of issue. The Cetme L for the Spaniards was kind of this weird bastardization of a roller lock gun, and it kind of worked, kind of didn't. But after a few years, unlike the AK and the M4, M16, this was replaced by an HK gun. I think it was the G33 or some other 5.56 variant of an HK style gun. So what makes this so terrible, you ask? Well, it was plagued with reliability issues, and it really didn't conform to any of the prior and current HK build specs. So obviously the bolt gap is different, no other parts fit. So for a Cetme C, HK, all the rollers are basically the same exact thing. But for this guy, they don't fit. So nothing really exists for this for replacement parts. So reliability was a factor. Apparently this thing just didn't work. Coupled that to their magazines were just god-awful. They jammed all the time. I don't actually have any Cetme L mags here. I got all AR mags, and they have their own host of issues too. So I got a pile of mags here on the table. The Stanag mags are kind of tight. Most of them fit, so that one locks up in. And just like the HKs, you got to have a super long finger there. These are not drop-free mags by any means. So that one fits. That's an OK Industries. I have another OK here. That one basically doesn't fit. That's an aftermarket, but it doesn't actually lock in. That's actually C Products aftermarket commercial. Got an older OK. Locks in nice. These ones, these are just trash. Got another, what is this, an unmarked? Yeah, that goes in and comes out actually. So not too bad, but does not like certain magazines, and it kind of has its own issues too. One thing that I do find pretty nice, just standard with normal HKs and other roller locks like the Cetme C, is the charging handle. You can keep your hand where it belongs and rack everything. I mean, obviously you gotta get your finger way out there to get the mag out, but besides that, your can stay exactly where it needs to be for just about everything. Another thing that I noticed is in order to get on these sights, you gotta basically push your head all the way down to the stock and push hard. Otherwise, you're not gonna be in alignment. So that is, I don't know if the Spaniards are just made different than me, but I can barely get a sight picture on this thing. So another thing is the trigger on this thing is kind of crap. That's long. It's not really stiff. It's just long and mushy. There's really no end feel to it. But, I mean, it does the job. So, not a match gun, not a match trigger, but, I mean, it does the trick, right? So after the last video, I didn't cover how I finished this out. This is a new reproduction Mark Homar stock set. This thing finished out too nice to put the old crap furniture back on it. The cocking handle is still the same, so that is the original, but the stock, foregrip, and the pistol grip are all new Mark Homar production, and those things are solid. They look super nice. Hey, future me here. So I'm putting this video together right now, And I actually found a whole bunch of videos from when I was refinishing this. So to start out, I sandblasted everything, including the barrel, which was originally nitrided by Mar. And if you don't know anything about nitride, let me tell you, that crap is hard. That took a long time to get off with the sandblaster. So all the other metal cleaned off real easy, and that barrel probably took about 2 to 3 times as long as the rest of the metal. But after the phosphate was done, fresh out of the tank, it didn't degrease at all. We masked off all the inside bits, the barrel, anything that shouldn't be painted, and then I sprayed it down with a EcoSure industrial enamel paint, model AA2787A, if you want to Google that. It's a semi-gloss olive drab paint from Skillcraft. So we painted it, and it turned out really nice. No drips. It dried really darn quick because the metal was still hot. I gave it a couple days just to cure off a little bit better. And it actually matches really darn close to the original receiver chunks that I had in my kit. Now, it's not as durable as like a Cerakote, but I mean, it's a heck of a lot cheaper and a heck of a lot easier for normal people to spray on. And with that, here's some clips of getting that job done. So one more note on finishing this up. For the paint and the letters, I just picked up some water-based Testors paint. So it's this acrylic paint set right here from Testors, getting on Amazon. I used the white and the red in that, and then took a fine needle and then kind of dabbed it in the paint, and then dabbed it in each one of these letters to paint fill all the letters. I do that with my G3 builds now, or any other HKs that should be filled in, but that really looks pretty freaking awesome. Anyways, let's get back to the range. So the first trips to the range with this thing didn't go so well. It would shoot, but all the brass would just stay inside of it. There was an issue with the dimensional changed Mar receiver, where the ejector, the little flippy lever that pops up there, it wasn't quite ejecting in the right spot. So what would happen is the round would come up, I think, get jammed up in here, and then it would just go right back in. So eventually the whole gun would get jammed up, but the round to stay in, it actually would work for a while. You'd shake it and there'd be rounds just kind of stuck inside the cocking tube. So the round would come out and then immediately go right back up in, and then the bolt would take it home and send it up into the cocking tube there. So for that, I got some slow motion video here that we'll probably insert so you can see what actually happened. And to fix it, what we had to do is re-angle the ejector to be at a sharper angle. So I'll show a picture of what it was and what it is now. It should match the Mar builds exactly too. So after all that, the real question is, how does it shoot now? Let's see. That one locks in nice. Charge it. And then, yeah, I can't really get down onto the sights with over-the-ear protection on, but she works. So this is still loaded. One of the other problems with the L is the obnoxiously small ejection port, because you got one in the chamber here, you want to eject it. See what happens. Oh, Huh. Well, that's not gonna work, because then we gotta finagle with the whole thing and get it out of the mag well. Well, if this thing worked fine all the time, we wouldn't have to do that. But actually clearing the chamber on this thing is a major issue. And couple that with crappy Cetme L mags, crappy unreliable gun, that's just asking for it. But this thing works, for me at least. Very little issues once I did the ejector modification, but pretty happy with it. Throws cases, good 20 feet away, not the best. Overall, not terrible. No, I'm not aiming at all. One more. Or not. Oops, we have a malfunction. Oh, that one was a dud. Got a not so great primer hit. So another problem is locking the bolt back. You gotta go way the heck back here, push that lever in, get it locked back. There's both of them. Not terrible. So that round wasn't a good primer hit. Don't know why exactly, but we'll give it another whack. All right, these final two rounds here. Does not do the HK slap. It's this little tiny 1/4-inch circle on that side. So comparing that ergonomically to an M4, this thing just feels right. I mean, there's no charging handle. That kind of makes a little bit of a difference. Besides that, I mean, this is superior in just about every single way. Reliability, I guess looks. I mean, the Cetme L is a super awesome looking gun, but this thing just, yeah. So this thing works just as any other AR you'd think would work. Hold back, rock it, and it just shoots. This one's obviously a shorty. Muzzle brake, it kind of sucks. We'll fix that in a second here. But yeah, she just works. And if you have a malfunction or you're done shooting, look at that, a properly designed ejection port. So I said I'd fix it, and I did. It's a lot more pleasant to shoot now. 11.5-inch barrel with a muzzle brake on, it'll do that, but that'll do. So back to the table. Out of that blistering sun, it is hot as balls here today. Accuracy-wise, Cetme L is kind of okay. It's not great. It's obviously not a marksman rifle. The trigger makes it not so enjoyable. 16-inch barrel, it does its job when it works. But realistically, I mean, this thing works pretty darn good for me. Obviously, it didn't work that well for the Spaniards because they killed it, but this one works perfectly fine. Mark Homar did a bang-up job on making the receiver flat for this, the bending jig, the barrel. They really made this thing really simple to build, honestly. So to wrap it up here, I think we're just gonna grade these guns on looks and reliability. So obviously the king reliability, the AK here. Coming in close second is the AR, M4, M16, whatever the heck you wanna call that thing. And coming in a far away third place would be the Cetme L. So looks, I mean, the Cetme L just has that vibe to it. I don't know exactly what it is, but this thing just looks awesome. I mean, that said, I think the AR, well, I mean, that's just your AR. Honestly, I think the winner of the looks department will be the Cetme L. It's not ergonomic in the slightest. You can't even get behind the sights really. But I mean, look at that thing. This thing is gonna turn heads at the range. You're never gonna see one of these again in the wild, probably. Probably tied for second in looks would be the AR and the AK. Just in their own rights, they are what they are. And they're just the classic rifles. They just look freaking awesome. But again, in terms of uniqueness and looks, that Cetme L is it. I know it's been a long time in the making for this wrap up, but I'm glad we did it now. The issue I was having with feeding on this, it might have been the magazine, because these are old magazines. I have not replaced the springs, the followers, anything. So it very well could have been the mag and not the gun. So take that for what it is. That's the first I've seen it. This thing usually works pretty darn good. It is a fun range blaster. I wouldn't count my life on it because it did place the far third for reliability. But it is a fun range blaster, and I doubt you're gonna ever see one of these on the range besides what you bring. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Follow along for the next one.